Right, welcome back. In this week's market preview, again, we are just going to run through what happened last week, and then we'll journey into what we expect to happen this week. So last week, I mentioned that we are completely bearish on all the three key metrics that we use. Your fractal order flow was bearish, your swing shot was bearish, and your volume trend was equally bearish. So we were expecting price to come take out this fractal high and then give us a reason to sell. And it played out very, very nicely. So price came, took out the fractal high, right, pushed up, and then you would have gone to your lower time frame to look for your reason to sell, right? So of course, then we had that big move on Thursday when the CPI data was released, and then we had this massive push to the downside. All right, so on Tuesday, basically played out as usual in the FXP models group. I had dropped the trade. So this was trade 11. And you could see my entries, just the screenshot of my positions as of the time, with the time it was posted. So that's 1:35. So you could just go look up that entry. So the first entry basically hit TP1 and then reversed back to SL. Then towards the ending of the day, we got a second one, which is that's 312. Since we started or since I opened this particular channel. So we got the 312, which again, I've always mentioned the model that it is based off of so that those who are in the FXP community will be able to follow and measure up the trades that I'm taking with the models that they are equally learning. All right, so then we had that TP1 was hit the following day. TP1 was hit the following day. That was on Wednesday. And then I posted the TP1 hit on both, now risk-free. And then same day, later in the afternoon, we had a full TP on GU. And unfortunately, well, I say unfortunately, but the trade, I was hoping that EU would also hit TP that Wednesday so that we don't have to pay the triple swap that usually occurs on Wednesday nights. But the trade carried on Thursday, so we paid that. We had to pay that triple swap fee and all. So then early on Thursday, around 10 a.m., or maybe around 9, I think it was around 9, but I basically came to the chart around like to 10. So that was when I saw it. So after so much back and forth, because if you go look at the charts, you will see that throughout that Tuesday going into the morning of Wednesday, EU was basically just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then I said, after much back and forth, full TP on EU. So that was basically how that played out. Very, very simple, something to look at. Fractal high, taking out, look for reasons to sell. And then, so even before the CPI came out, we were already basically out of our positions. All right, so what do we expect for the week we find ourselves in? So let's start from the fractal order flow. So we'll go over to trading view. So we are still bearish, right? We're still bearish on the USD. We're still bearish on the USD. So basically be expecting price to continue going lower during the week. All right, what of on swing shots? If we look at swing shots, basically what we had a situation where price, let me bring out my pointer. All right, so this was the previous week's high, and this was the high of, sorry, I'm using the wrong week. All right, so this was the previous week's high and this week's high. So we had a lower high, and then we had a lower low, and then we had a bearish close. So your swing short is equally bearish, and I'm not going to show how we do our volume, but the volume is equally bearish. So it's a similar scenario with last week. Now, one of the things that happened last week, I was sharing with them in the FXP community. Basically, while that whole move was happening, the majority of retail traders are seen in the retail sentiment on my FX book. The majority of retail traders were actually bullish on the dollar. And that is one of the sure ways, especially when you have a major news coming. That's one of the sure ways to know that you are probably on the right track when your position is against what the majority of retail traders are doing, because that's the whole concept of inducement and liquidity. I'm not going to go into that so that this video doesn't become too long. All right, so what we'll be expecting, we'll be expecting price. So this candle that is currently running has taken out this other candle. So we'll be waiting to see a fractal high form on the 4 hours right here. No fractal high has formed yet. So we'll be expecting a fractal high to form within the week, and then that fractal high taken out, and then we'll begin to look for reasons to sell. That will be for our weekly trade models, So if we go to EU, and then go to daily, we could see that EU is also bullish on the daily. EU, if we look at the 4 hours, EU is equally bullish. So, which means that we could have a possible intraday buy model on EU playouts within the week, or in fact, even as close as tomorrow. So either way, what I'll be waiting for the intraday model will be for price to take out the Asian low tomorrow, so to form the Asian low overnight, then take it out during the European session tomorrow, and then we'll be looking for opportunities to buy EU and GU. So whether it gives us an intraday buy model or it gives us a weekly buy model, either way, we are bullish on EU and GU, and we are bearish on the USD. All right. So, but a warning, I could already see this forming on EU. So EU has already taken out the previous week's high. Same thing has happened on GU. That's taken out the previous week's high. So if a fractal high forms, if this is confirmed to be a fractal high, it's going to still take a couple of hours before this will be confirmed as a fractal high. So if this is confirmed as a fractal high, and for whatsoever reason, price takes out that fractal high, then I will basically stop trying to buy EU for the rest of the week, right? I hope that makes sense. So those are the things that we are going to be watching out for. So when it comes to news releases, I think the major news release we need to really be watching out for this week is the ECB, the European Central Bank interest rates decision. So there's going to be an interest rate decision on Thursday that will likely bring some volatility into the markets. Then GBP inflation data will also be coming out. I think that should be on Friday. So those are either on Friday or Wednesday now. I can't really remember. So those are the two key issues to watch out from a news perspective. So enjoy the rest of your trading week. Also, you could go to the Trade Experts website. I always do a write-up on Tuesday explaining some of my some things that I don't talk about in the preview. So I dwell more on the fundamentals. So when we come to the videos, I dwell more on the technicals, but in the write-up, I dwell more on the fundamentals. So if you want to also see my fundamental reasoning as far as the week is concerned and all that, do make sure to read the blog posts that will come out by tomorrow morning. All right, enjoy the rest of your trading week.